What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Mobile Fidelity SoundLab Silver Label. This is kind of a follow-up video to one that I did a couple weeks ago where I talked about my first experience purchasing a MoFi pressing. If you want to peel back on the channel, be sure to check it out. And overall, I was very pleased with it, and right off the bat, I can see that they put a lot of care and attention to the product that they put out. And I had mentioned towards the end of the video that they do something called the Silver Label, but I didn't really have any Silver Label pressings to check out and mention on the video, but that has changed because I went ahead and picked up my very first Silver Label pressing. This is Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors. Now, if you're a little out of the loop with MoFi and what they're doing these days, you're probably asking yourself what exactly is the Silver Label. And I will explain what is mentioned in the little advertising folder that's featured within the pressing. And it states here, Mobile Fidelity's Silver Label series invites you to get closer to the music from signature albums spanning an array of styles, including pop, rock, new wave, soul, metal, and more. Many titles represent the first time these iconic records have been again made available in analog since their original release. Each LP meets strict audiophile standards and sound fantastic. Expand your musical horizons. Now, I was very excited to really dig into this because I didn't really know what to expect out of a Silver Label pressing. So essentially what the Silver Label is all about is that they're just putting out some different stuff that they wouldn't normally put out in their normal pipeline of releases, and there are some major differences between a Silver Label pressing and a regular pressing. I know that MoFi is always known for using the best analog sources, preferably the first generation tapes, and getting the most out of them and doing them at half speed and whatnot. And with the Silver Labels, it isn't necessarily a full-on, I guess you can say, full-on true first generation analog transfer. From what I've read, it's pretty much they're using a secondary source, whether it be a copy of a tape or they might even use a digital transfer. Now, with this in mind, I really kept an open mind in terms of how it sounded. So before I gave this a spin, I decided to give another MoFi record a spin that I picked up recently around the same time I got the Skynyrd record. And that is Weezer's Green album. This is a standard MoFi pressing. Got this for 18 bucks. Crazy, is it? I'll explain in a video later on how I got it for that price. So I gave this a listen, and right off the bat, you're probably thinking Weezer and Lynyrd Skynyrd. They are two entirely different bands, two different genres and everything. So, but it wasn't necessarily about the music. It was about how the sound would come across and, you know, really hearing how MoFi would use the sources and tools to make their record sound so good. So I gave this a listen, and then I spanned the Silver Label. And right off the bat, you can definitely tell that there's a difference because in a standard MoFi release, there is so much detail. They're mastered at half speed, and they're using the best source, and they use something which is called the Gain 2 Ultra Analog System, which is their process on how they master their records, and it's just the soundstage is very wide, the detail is really nice, and also there is a lot of punch, especially in the bottom end, and also the high end is very crisp, but it doesn't cause any sibilance, which is nice. So this is a just really nice sounding record, but considering the nature of the Silver Label series, you definitely do sense it. And like I said, that's why I kept an open mind when it came to this. Now, unfortunately, they don't really specify for each Silver Label released what sources are used, but it is speculated that it is not the full-on analog treatment that's given to the standard MoFi releases. Now, I do have to say this. If you are curious and checking out the Silver Label series, please do. I do recommend checking them out. Right off the bat, I do have to say this. It is not worth it if you're going to try to rack these up and compare them to a standard MoFi release. It's a different product, but then again, it's put under the MoFi banner, so I don't think they're really going to mess up whatever product that they decide to put out. They want to maintain the reputation that they have in serving the best sounding pressings of great albums, and I'm sure that they do that, but just in a different effect with the Silver Label. There is a vinyl YouTuber out there, I will not name names, and he had mentioned the silver labels on his channel, but of course he's racking them up against the standards, and he pretty much bashed them entirely. And that's not right, because it's two entirely different products, and there's the major differences. Like I've mentioned, fully analog for the standards, and something secondary with the silver label. And plus, the prices for a regular MoFi original master recording, if it's brand new and it's a single LP mastered at 33 half speed and on 180 gram vinyl, these go for about $35. And for a silver label, which I'm not quite sure, it actually is done on the Gain 2 Ultra analog system, but it's pressed on standard weight vinyl, so it's not as heavyweight. But the packaging between both is excellent. I mean, that's the one thing that I love about MoFi. Like, it's nice, thick, heavy-duty cardstock, and you still also get the advertisements, that little folder that showcases their products and titles that they've done. And of course, they all do come in the nice MoFi rice paper sleeves. And as you can tell, the label, of course, is different because it is actually a full-on silver label. And of course, these are also priced at $25, which in my opinion is a great price considering, you know, the amount of care that goes into these. And like I said, they are very good. And I kind of have a theory when it comes to these silver labels. I feel like with this vinyl resurgence going on, I feel like this is kind of sort of a test to see if certain record collectors will gravitate towards these, because of course I'm sure Mobile Fidelity is going to be mentioned in a couple vinyl conversations and how, you know, they have this great reputation. So I think they're trying to cater a little bit to some of the beginners that are out there collecting vinyl, and perhaps if they do like what they hear with the silver label, then it'll make them take the bold step and get a standard MoFi release. That's what I think. And plus, it could just simply be them doing a little bit something different instead of their standard releases. They do go for a premium price, the standard ones, so I guess maybe doing these lower priced pressings tend to bring a little bit more revenue, or it just simply could be them deciding to put some different artists out that wouldn't normally fit the kind of flow that goes with their standard releases. So that right there is what I think of the silver labels. If you are curious, please check them out for yourself. My question for you is, what do you think of the Mobile Fidelity SoundLab silver label? Have you had any experiences with them? If you have, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the record spinning.